Hi and welcome to the stunning 18th hole on the Brabazon golf course here at the Belfry. My name is Chris Ryan, and in this video we're going to give you some great ideas which might help you hit the ball further with the driver. Just before we get started, in the corner of the screen you should have the details for my social media accounts, so if you don't already, please go ahead and follow me on those. So we're talking about the driver, however what we're going to go through does apply to the other golf clubs in the bag. However, I would generally see this adding a little bit more value to the golfers with the longer clubs such as the driver. And really what we're going to talk about is how the hands move from the top of the golf swing through to impact. And if the hands are going to move in that fashion, we can sort of say that that's how the handle is moving. So we're talking really about how we move the handle of the golf club towards the golf ball. Now, if we look at the game's elite golfers, so your PGA Tour players, your European Tour players, your LPGA Tour players, and then we look at maybe the golfers out there, the amateur golfers who are struggling to get the handicaps down, maybe the 20s, the high teens, we would see some sort of patterns in what's happening. And one of the big differences we see is actually how the handle is moving through the golf swing. So if you could imagine, as I make my backswing, if we could trace, let's say the middle of the hands, and trace the movement of that point of the grip, if you like, through to impact, we would see quite a difference in, let's say, the elite golfers compared to your high handicap golfers. So what we can therefore do is we can use some of that information to hopefully help you play some better golf. So here's what I would like you to do. You're going to take your setup with your driver, and you're just going to basically imagine how high your left hand is. So I'm going to imagine a line that goes, you know, parallel to the ground, but starting from, let's say, the top of my thumb. And what I want you to do is from the top, I want you to try and move your hands away from the target, so that's this way, and as I approach impact I also want them to be lower than they were at the start. So to me that would feel like I was pushing my hands out away from me and getting them lower pre-impact than they will be at impact and they were at the start. So let's just go through that once more, so we're clear on what we're trying to do. I'm taking my setup and I'm imagining how high my lead hand is. When I get to the top of my swing, which is going to be no different, I'm going to feel that I'm pushing my hands away from me and I'm arching them or arcing them down and lower than they were at setup when they are passing my trail thigh. From here, they are then going to work more upwards and into the golf ball. So, really important that we are discussing the hands. We are not discussing the club head. So I'm not trying to get you from the top to throw that club head out and away and get that down here. We are just talking about the hands. Now I have done a video on this maybe 3 or 4 months ago talking about how you can retain lag, and this is a very, very good way for you to try and retain some of the angles that you've created in your backswing. Many of the golfers that we see from the top are trying to move the hands almost in a straight line towards the golf ball. They're almost trying to pull the hands down into this impact area. That is a fantastic way to get that club releasing far too early. And if that club releases far too early, we're going to get this poor impact where the sort of club head passes the hands too much, the lead arm buckles, and we don't generally get the most amount of speed into the golf club that we could. So what do I get you to do? Is actually just make some rehearsals. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to go wide and low. So I'm trying to go out wide and low. From here I can then start to use my flexing my legs and extend my hips and my pelvis as I swing through. Without going into too much detail here, the way that we move the handle is going to massively influence when the club gets sort of thrown out towards the golf ball, and that in turn is going to massively influence how much speed that golf club has at impact. The longer hitters, the better golfers, the ones who drive the ball the furthest and the straightest, have a very, very different motion with the hands and the grip compared to your maybe high handicap golfer who's struggling with the driver. We see some different patterns in how the hands move from the top to the golf ball, but as I say, if we can start to maybe think about what we should be doing, have some better ideas, some better concepts, we might be able to hit that driver a little bit better. Right, let me go ahead and hit one. This is the 18th, so I'm going to try and take it over the corner. The line is often a lot further left than what people think. If any of you have seen any Ryder Cups here, you'll know the line is over the trees. Slight draw is ideal, but I'm going to go from the top, really wide, low with my hands, and then use my legs to pull the handle back up into impact. And I certainly wouldn't have that drive back. Fraction right of where I was aiming, but it's over the trees, should be in perfect position. So how we move the handle can massively influence how we deliver the club and how much speed that club is delivered with. If we can move towards some things that are maybe more sort of like what the best players do and the longer hitters, we can hopefully help you hit that driver further and straighter, and that is certainly going to help you drop those scores. Thank you very much for watching. Hope that's helpful to you. If it is, please click the like button down below. There's a comments box down there as well, so if you've got anything you'd like to say, please post it in that box. I'll do my best to respond to as many as I can. And last thing, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Loads of videos on my channel, loads more being uploaded weekly. There is a link in the description box down below which will allow you to do just that. Thanks again for watching, and hopefully we'll see you back here again soon.